car you were in, so you know what you're averaging. I'm ready to roll out, all right?
Okay, yeah.
So I want to shut this light off.
Yeah.
You want to take a picture of that?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you can copy it.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. That's a good thing.
Now I'll turn the light off to stop the glare. You need the light?
Let me see. Yeah.
Alright, hold on. We're getting a red light, so it'll work out. Alright.
That's it.
I can take a picture of that page
Perfect.
about right here with my phone. Then when you get a chance, you can fill it out, do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Hey Mike, we're heading home tonight.
Yeah. But my cheese completely, it's like making...
Still soaking wet, huh?
10 pounds. Oh my God. I hope for this 4.5 or 5 hours I will be a little bit dry. Yellow submarine.
Here we go.
Third gear. High.
High side.
For snowing here, it's not too bad like it was over there.
I guess that red light's just a suggestion to him.
First class house. Probably hurry. Another one.
Well, Mike, we're off and rolling. Yeah. Reminds me of growing up in Mansfield, all the snow on the
What
ground.
kind of city is that?
Is this?
Yes.
This is a major city, I believe. This is a suburb of Detroit. Detroit's only,
Suburb Detroit. Okay.
Yeah, it's Dearborn and Detroit are just like sister cities.
Okay.
They're not that far apart.
Between them, right?
Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about Detroit, but I do know that Dearborn and Detroit are like close together.
What are those?
Oil refineries.
What?
It's a refinery for oil and gas. They bring the crude in and they make gasoline over there.
Refinery. Yeah, you said refinery. Yeah, you told me. Yeah.
Snow sliding off the hood a little at a time.
Honda Detroit.
One thing to remember, Mike, when you're
Uh-huh.
running up here, once you drop below 20 hours, try not to run up here because you can get stuck. Because if you have a plug up or something happens like what happened just now,
Uh-huh.
tonight, if you don't have 20 hours, you got, from the time you leave to the time you get back, that's 9 hours. Then
Okay.
you have, so your 20 hours, that leaves you just driving, that's 9 hours out of your 20. So that takes you down to 11 hours. And you've got a drop and hook in between that, wherever you stop for the night to come up here. So there's another half hour. That brings you down to 10 hours.
Okay.
If anything goes wrong, like what happened here, you won't make it back.
Not make it back completely, right?
You won't, yeah. And nobody wants to spend their weekend in a truck after staying 4 or 5 nights in it, you know?
I just wanna, whenever you finish smoking, repeat for me one more time. I would like to understand what you tried to me explain.
All right. At the end of your week,
Okay.
this is your week right here,
Yes.
okay? You're going to be on paper logs, so you're going to have so much time for loading and offloading, right?
Yes.
So, let's say that you start your day from the Flying J where we stopped at
Uh-huh.
the first day and fueled up and got coffee and all that, okay?
Okay.
You start there and you got to go all the way back to Mars.
Okay.
You got 20 hours on your clock. By the time you get to Mars, drop and hook, you've ran 5 hours off your clock. You got 15 hours.
Left.
Yes. And then you got to drive 4.5 hours back.
Okay.
Because you dropped and hook, that's half an
So
hour.
I have 10 hours.
So you got 3 hours, 3.5 hours just from the Flying
I
J.
have
So
6.5 hours left.
And you got 4 to 5 hours plus the offload. Let's go good scenario, okay? Everything flowed like the last 2 nights, okay?
Okay.
You're out, you're running up here, you finished, and it's your last day. You got 20 hours left. You spent the night at the mill, okay? Instead of at the Flying J, you're now at the mill.
Real where?
Where there's places
Okay,
you can stay
okay.
there and sleep. We'll show
Can I
you.
do that?
Yeah, there's a couple of spots.
Okay.
Remind me, I'll show you Monday.
Okay.
So, now you're at the mill, right?
Yeah.
You've done your 10 hours, it's time to go get Mike message you, hey, I got another, I need you to run one more. You look at your logs, you're like, oh, I've got 20 hours left. That's not enough time if anything goes wrong. So let's say you say, okay, I'll run it. If you don't have 20, you have 20 hours. You got 4.5 hours back to Mars, right?
Yes.
Half hour to drop, hook, swap your trailers.
Yes.
Post-trip, pre-trip, all that, there's a half hour.
Yeah.
Now you got 4.5 hours back.
Yeah.
So now you drove, not included, you drove 9 hours. Is that right? 9 hours plus your half hour.
Hook and
Yeah. So
okay.
now you've got all the way back. You got 10 hours. You got just enough time, if it doesn't plug or they don't shut you down, to get back to Mars. Because you have 4.5 to 5 hours to offload, and you got enough time to make it back to Mars.
Okay.
But if you have 17 hours, tell them I got 17 hours,
Uh-huh.
and
It's not enough.
it's not enough for everything to go smoothly.
Okay. So, what with that scenario? I'm supposed to be stay on a gas station that day and a half.
let
to-
him know that you don't have enough hours to run out and back. If
Oh,
you start,
okay. On the advance, okay.
yeah, but if you start anywhere in the middle from the turnpike, if you're anywhere from halfway on the turnpike to almost back to Mars, you can make it out and back on 20 hours. But if you have 20 hours and you're starting from here, you don't have enough to go out and back. Because you see how things happen today.
Yeah.
Today we were almost done and they shut us down. We had to finish our last clean out.
Yeah.
And well, you can really get that off the road there, buddy.
But I tell you one more thing. So I don't have logbook. I have a paper book. So I can little bit cheat, right?
I wouldn't, because Linda checks your logs
Okay.
against
So
your scale tickets.
I supposed to bring those logs to her, right?
Yeah. And she'll check your tickets, and if your tickets and your logs don't match,
Okay, I see what you mean. I see.
because she checks them. You don't want Linda to smack you because your logs don't match your papers.
No, I don't want that. We need little bit air on this side of the, because look, it's fogging. Start fog a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I got my window cracked too.
Okay.
Because we're drying out, and we got to have that moisture go somewhere.
Yes. Yeah.
Because the window's trying to fog too. But if you're starting from up here, 20 hours is not enough time to go out
Okay.
and back.
I'll keep in mind. Yep.
And you got John Carney's number. He'll tell you where you can. He's a lot more experienced on this dearboard than I am. I ran this one time with 17 and a half hours, and I didn't make it back. And I ended up PCing to Mars for like 20 miles, and then from Mars to the shop. But I don't PC very often. But they don't want us using PC because we had too many guys abusing. They would get a loaded trailer from Freeport, drive all the way up to Interstate 80 from Freeport, and then go on duty. Well, that's 2.5 hours, and they would do the same thing. They would go to the Flying J, get off, go to PC at the Flying J, and then drive all the way to the shop. That's an hour or two drive that they're doing on personal conveyance, but they're on the load. And Linda was getting mad about that because we don't want to get in trouble, because this is how we make our living. This is our money, and we get shut down because of a few bad apples. They want you to run it by the book. They would rather you run by the book and have to find another driver to cover a load than do it, cut corners to get a job done, and have an accident, and then we get audited and we all get shut down. So I'm not hollering at you, you know that.
I'm so glad you tell me that, because when I work with my son, he don't care about paper, but of course I do my adjust for weight station. For him, he just I'm getting the right time. I get everything right, but nobody checking. And after a week, I just threw away. I don't need that.
You got to keep those for 30 days.
See, even I don't know that. Nobody taught me.
When you have a paper log, matter of fact, all logs, if you had a truck that you could put an ELD in, for the when you go, say you got your logbook, okay?
Yeah.
At the end of June, you have to carry that logbook till the second week of February. And when we get a new ELD system, I've had two since we've had two since I've been here. When they give us a new ELD, they print off our last 7 days of work, and we have to carry them for a week. So if we get audited, we get stopped and they want to see our logs, we can present our logs for what we worked the previous week. So yeah, you got to keep a logbook for 1 week after every month. I got my logbooks still from when I worked at U.S. Wells. Every one of them I ever filled out. I kept them.
For what?
So I'd have them.
Okay.
You said you run paper logs?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of an app for your phone called Recap?
No.
Dude, you've got to download that. It saves you so much math. It's excellent. You go in and you put what you worked, you put your driving time, you put your on-duty time, and it automatically calculates the hours you have for the week. It automatically shows you the hours you're going to get back at the end of the week, at the end of your 8 days. It's for paper log. It's an excellent app. Recap.
Called Recap.
Yep. And it's free. We were in a safety meeting and one of the frac hands said, hey, we got this, I found this app for doing my logbooks. You guys will love it. It's called a Recap. Because legally, we couldn't drive if we did, because we worked 16, 18-hour days. We only got up to 6 to 8 hours off at night. So after 2 days, after our first day back, we couldn't run. We couldn't drive because we didn't have enough time off between drive times. So it'll you put in there, are you running in the 34-hour reset or are you running oil field exemption? Well, I put in the oil field exemption because I had the 24-hour reset, and it was great. Yeah, download that app. I know you're not an idiot. I know that. But everybody makes a calculating mistake sometimes.
Yeah.
And this does it all automatically. You put in your on-duty time, your off-duty time, and it just bloop, 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 and it grids it all out, and then it shows you exactly what you got. It does your math for you. It doesn't draw out your grid or any of that. It just does your math work. So you know how you got your starting hours, what you worked, and you just put that all in like you would the paper into your app, and it helps you with your thing. And then when you've been off for 24 hours or 34 hours, it automatically resets. It's an excellent app. Matter of fact, I got DOT'd low. I mean, it was so low that when I showed the guy the recap on the hours I'd worked and went back, I left my other book at home. It was, I'd just come back to work, so it was my first day back, and I was taking a truck to Ohio. And I had my logbook for that day, and I turned in my logs for the days I was off. but it didn't go back a full week because it was only like 3 days and into the month. So then I said, oh, I forgot it. I left it at home in my other. So I had like 3 bags, and I was only going up and back, going back to Jane Lou that day because it was a Wednesday. I didn't work a full day. So after I showed him the recap, he goes, "What is this?" I said, "It's called Recap." I said, "It's an app." And I said, "It shows my hours of service." And I explained it to him. He goes, "Well, I could give you a fine, but you have proof that you've been off for the last 6 days. You just come back. So you had a reset in, and I can see you had it. But next time I see you, you better have your logbook. It's, your previous month's log." I said, "Okay, sir, thank you." And he learned something new.
Yeah. From us.
Yeah. He could have gave me a fine because he wanted to see my paperwork. He wanted to know what I was running. He just looked over the truck, said it was a good truck. It wasn't leaking. It wasn't dirty looking like it just been pulled out of the weeds. Everything worked. He just wanted to go home, but I was there, so we made small talk, and he looked the truck over, and he said, "I see you got FR on the back of your truck. What is it?" I get the truck, I get the chemical book, I hand it to him. He looks over, he goes, "So what is it?" It says friction. I said, "What's it do?" I said, "It makes the slick water slicker." I said, "This stuff's so slimy that one drop of it on a doorknob, with a drop of water, you can't turn the doorknob with anything. You got to get it off before you can turn the door." Really? He looked over it real quick. He said, "This stuff's made out of vegetables. Did you know that?" "Yes, sir, I did." It's a biodegradable friction reducer.
Friction reducer.
Yep. It's super slick.
And you use them for what?
In the oil field to help make the waters, to cut the viscosity of the water down, make the slide better. And we ran gel to help carry the sand down the well hole. And that stuff is, if you take a drop of that and put it on the top of here, just a dropper of a dropper, and a drop of water, it expands to double its size. It's just like gel. But it expands, and it would grab the sand at like, if you start sand and you're running less than 40 barrels a minute, you run gel, and then you grab that gel, mix that gel with that sand, and it carries it all the way down to the bottom of the well. And once you get about 70 barrels, you cut the gel, and the FR and the water will take it all the way to the bottom. I was on pads, and when I had everything caught up, waiting to run, I would listen to them. And we'd start out at 3 barrel a minute.
3 barrel a minute?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know how many gallons are in a barrel, right?
55?
No, 42.
42?
42. 55's a drum. The barrel is 42 gallons.
What kind of barrel?
Barrel oil.
Okay.
Oil is sold by barrels and drums. So when you hear him saying oil is selling at $100 a barrel, that's 42 gallons. So we'd start out at 3 barrel a minute, so that was 126 gallons a minute. And they would,
That's a lot. That's a lot.
yeah. So we're running, and that's idle pressure, just turning the pumps over. We're running 2 pumps. And they would run that for about 3 minutes to make sure the well, they'd start 3 barrel a minute. All right, the well open, we got flow, bring on the acid. When the acid would come on, they'd like, okay, drop the acid. We'd drop 1,000 gallons of acid. So you're pumping 4 barrels a minute. Plus they would bring on a pump with acid, and that would bring that up to another 4 barrels a minute. Once they would get the acid dropped, they'd shut the acid in, flush the line. All right, here we go. Then they start catching gears and start running up the pumps. That's when it got exciting. They'd run up to 50 barrels a minute and they'd hold it. At 50 barrels a minute, all they're doing is waiting for the break. All right, guys, here we go. 10 barrel a minute, 20 barrel a minute, 30 barrel a minute.
Wow.
Pressure's coming up. 40 barrels still. 50 barrel a minute. Pressure's coming up. We're at 10K. 10K. Bam, we got a break. We're getting it. 10 barrel, 10 barrel, 10 barrel. Then you get up to 10, 12K, and that acid hit the formation. Break that formation down. Withstand 8,000 to 9,000 pounds at 90 to 100 barrel a minute.
Wow. With what?
Water.
Water.
We're pumping that water down hole at 100 barrel a minute.
For what?
To fracture to extract the gases back out.
Okay. Now I understand.
The gas and the oils that are down in that formation.
And gas and oil too.
Yep.
Both of them, right?
Yep. We get up to about 60 barrel a minute. They'd bring on FR. They'd cut the gel, bring on the FR, change the grade of sand, and just go. Fracks would last, at the bottom of a well, a frac would last almost 3.5 hours. And that's partly because what you're doing is you're pumping the well top down through the heel, and then a mile or 2 miles underground to the stage you're fracking.
And push.
Yep. But if you stay 8,000-9,000 pounds, that pressure started coming up during the sand, when you were running sand, cut the sand and you go what they call flush. If it didn't flush out, they'd throw gel back at it. If they'd say come up to like 10K, 10,000, they'd throw gel at it. That gel would run down there and grab that sand and push it all the way in. And then once it would break open, we'd go right back to running sand again. But they would leave the gel on to help move the sand down the pad. Then they would put in a chemical called breaker, which would, over time, will break that FR and that gel down. So when it comes back out, it's liquid form. You don't even see it. Mostly they did it to break the gel up. Dissolve the gel. And they ran another thing they ran a lot of, they ran anti-corrosive to help with the casings. The casings wouldn't rot. And they ran biocide to kill any of the bacteria that was inside that well.
Keep that warm a little bit because I'm getting cold with it.
Oh, that's fine.
Still rain. Wow. Rain. It's a rain.
It's raining.
Rain. It's a rain.
It's warmed up. It's 38 degrees now.
What? How many degrees?
38.
38. I will wake up today at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm done.
boy as soon as we get back practically, don't you?
Yeah.
He gonna just meet you there?
I go home and he will pick me up in the 4 o'clock at home and take me to my truck and he will drive on the way of here.
What time are you driving that, picking that load up?
I don't know, he said we're supposed to be leave at 4:30. It's what Mike said.
What it's from Pleasant Gap to Mars to Pleasant Gap from Mars is around 3.5 hours.
Yeah. So if it,
And that's if you go up I-80.
yeah.
You can also come back down
So around trip, I will be. It's little bit, not little bit. It will be 3.5, 4.5 hour, 2 hours difference, right? Between this, 23 hours difference.
up there.
Yeah.
A round trip. You go up, get right in. You don't have to wait for stone. Everything falls right into place. You can be out and back in 8 hours.
8 hours.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But the biggest problem, like I said, is going to be the computers. But if you go in, the computer, you make the computer work right now, it'll be done. I usually lose a half hour at the first computer and then another half hour at the second computer.
Whoa.
Sometimes longer, depending how busy what they're into. 'Cause whatever trailer you take, let's say you take your truck weighs 17,000 pounds empty. The trailer in your truck, let's say, goes in at 29,000 pounds.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's say the last truck that was up there came in at 28,000 because it was a day cab. They won't let you load. So you'll have to get on the radio and say, hey, I'm trying to load Bay 4. I'm being told that my truck is heavier than the previous weight and it won't let me load stone. It says the weight figures are wrong. So they'll reset the scale for your
They set the scale to get
your truck. Yeah.
okay. So they load every truck
You load
to max, right? Maximum weight. Almost 80,000 pounds, right?
if you want to. You're the loader of that truck.
Oh, really?
Yep. You can set the weight to load 80 up to 80,000, or you can set it to load at 46. I always load 46
Uh-huh.
because I don't know how heavy the next truck's going to be to load it, get under it. I loaded one up there about 7 months ago, 8 months, maybe a year ago now, and I misloaded it. I was still learning how to load these. I put 34,000 pounds. When it was loaded, there was 50,000 pounds on the drives instead of 34. So nobody wanted, I got forced taking it, so I learned a lesson. Load the lightest in the back and then load it and try to put 9 on the drives, as much as you can on the back, and then put the rest in the middle pockets.
Say again?
You'll load, most of the trailers that go up there, you'll get 3 hoppers and 4 hopper trailers.
Okay.
You got
three
it.
hopper.
You
Okay.
get a 3 hopper trailer,
Okay.
put 9,000 in the front over your drives.
9,000.
Yep, 9 ton. Sorry, 9 ton.
9 tons.
Yeah,
Okay.
18,000 pounds.
Okay, 18,000 pounds. Okay.
Yeah, on your drives, and put as much as you can in the rear hopper, and then finish off in the center.
What do you mean as much? So make a full?
Yeah, you want to do like, so say you're going to load 48,000.
Okay. Yeah.
So you want to put 18,000
Yeah.
in the front,
Yes.
and then you're going to put 22,000 or so in the back pocket. Then you'll finish the weight off to split the rest right down the middle.
Okay. 22 and 18. What is it?
Take your phone with you if you need it. So I don't know how you are with math, but I'm like, I can do math, but I'm bad with numbers.
I'll bet you.
I have a bit of a dyslexia with numbers, so I divide that by 3. There's three hopper. I'll divide, say, 48 by 3, and I'll write that down, and then I'll figure out where I didn't need for the other 2 to get 18,000 on the drives. Break it down for you. It'll give you like the 3 hoppers. The back hopper, the one closest to you, give the highest number. It'll give the next number in the middle, and then the top numbers over your drives. That's how it loads back to front. But you'll have to do a little bit of adjusting to get everything to work out for what you order. You guys are going to make the heavier, the more stuff you guys put in the truck, the more money you and your son will make.
Oh, okay.
Because you guys will get paid by the load. I get paid to be there. And I know that
By the load or by the
you'll get
weight?
paid by weight.
Okay.
I know a lot of our owner operators that I know, they'll load 47, 48,000 at all our places, because that extra couple tons is more money in the pocket. If I was an owner operator, I would too. But I also got to keep in mind, when I load, I keep in mind that not only am I loading for me, I got to load for a truck that might weigh heavier than mine. Every now and again, Jack, like I said, like I told you about Jack, his truck, the truck with the trailer is 34,
Yeah.
5,000.
Yeah.
So
He needs less.
So he's only good to haul 46,000 pounds.
Yes.
And that's in half tanks. If he goes over, if he fills his tanks up all the way, he's now overweight.
Yeah.
Jack's a good guy. He'd like you if you met him. He's a little rough around the edges sometimes, but overall he's a good guy.
What do you mean rough on the edges? What's that mean?
You know how, just by the way he comes across, like he's hateful, mean, spiteful, hateful person. He's just got that tone of voice where he sounds like he's mad, angry.
But you know,
He's really not, yeah.
so the road's getting better, right?
It's getting a lot better as we go down.
Yeah. Because I talked to my son, he said, we have heavy rain, we don't have snow. Good. So how many hours you make on this week?
I've got 15 hours and 44 minutes left for this week. And it'd have been less than that off, they come on, they go off. See, that's at 1 second pre-trip.
Yeah. The plane is right. Great trip.
That was that 1 minute pre-trip where he got out, stretched his legs, checked that water leak behind the cab, and got back in and left. I would haul Rowdy, but he's in a Cascadia, which means he probably doesn't have a radio anyhow.
How about your northbound? You get up around the 38 to 40, you'll be coming to a slow down. Yeah, no, appreciate it. You look good back that way. You got a couple spot out down around Toledo. That's about it. All right, thank you. You have a safe journey.
So, you have a radio.
I have a radio. I got a radio that picks up big radios. only 2 weigh stations here and here. Now you'll be weighed at the cash boxes in Ohio, but
They have weigh station over there.
they have weight plates in the ground to drive over, pressure plates to drive over.
Okay. In Ohio.
Yeah. I'll show you when we get to get on where they're at.
Okay.
Pennsylvania has them too. That's how they know how much to charge for the weight. You go over a plate.
Yeah.
Supposed to be down in the single digits.
Single digit? Oh. What? 9? 8?
1, 5.
Wow.
So with that wind tunnel up there at the steel mill, that wind chill's going to be down below negative numbers. So dress accordingly.
So how those hoppers work with temperature like that?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never offloaded in sub-zero weather with this material. I know I've been out on oil pads, gas pads at negative 30 degrees, and guys have had their belly lines, their gates freeze shut because they left them open. Got water and snow in them, and they melted when they loaded them. Turned the water, then it froze the sand. They had to run their aerator to get the sand to heat up. I've seen guys try to open these hoppers up and snap the handles right off the valve because they were froze shut. Coming up behind us here. It's about a car length and a half from the car in front of you.
The color.
Right here. Here's the car. Here comes the crash Cadia. That car spins out, has an issue. That driver could kill that guy.
Look.
He best to stay calm. They'll pull him over in Michigan. And from what I've heard, I don't know facts. If you're caught in the hammer lane, you don't just get a speed ticket, you get DOT. I know you don't want to get pulled over in South Carolina in the far left lane. South Carolina. I seen a guy get pulled over. I seen he was pulled over. He passed me in the left lane. About 5 miles up the road, he was sitting with a DOT officer, and they were walking around the truck when I passed him. And you know, when they're walking around your truck, you're getting checked.
Really?
They gave him a roadside DOT and speeding ticket. I almost got sideswiped down there one day. It was daytime actually. I'm in the middle lane, and traffic was coming on, and this car came right out from the on-ramp into the slow lane. I looked in my mirror, looked ahead, looked back in my mirror, and over I went, and there was a cop behind me. As soon as my lane was clear, as soon as I got over, I put my turn signal back on. And as soon as I got back over, that cop went around me, and I don't know where he went. But I'm like, well, I'm getting a ticket for avoiding an accident. I didn't, thank God. I don't know if he sped down the road and pulled that vehicle over down the road or what he did. You drying out yet?
No. My socks.
Still soaking wet.
Yeah.
Well, let's put some of this heat down on that floor because my foot's still wet too.
I thought you did on the floor, no?
I did, and then I turned it back to the windows because they were fogging up.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. This is the wind?
A little bit. Might be breaking his trail too. One of the guys, when I was getting my Class Bs, said, when you're driving, you're out on the highway in the wintertime, watch your mirrors, watch the overspray. Your mirrors freeze on the back and the overspray stops. Ease off the gas, turn off your Jake, and slow down. The road's starting to ice.
Yeah, look at overspray, right?
Yep. When your tires are not spraying, the road's freezing. You need to ease out of the throttle
Yeah.
and let it come down to a slower, more manageable speed. I was 19 years old. I bought a 1981 Chevy Caprice Classic. It had,
Caprice?
yeah, it's basically a fancy Impala. And
But it's bigger.
no, same size as an Impala.
Same size?
Yeah. More chrome, more features, more standard options. When the car was new, it had a diesel engine in it. The people,
Diesel engine. Wow.
yep. Well, the engine blew up, and they bought a 67 Oldsmobile Rocket and had it installed in the car. In the wintertime, I'd go out riding around in that car, and to see how slick the road was, I'd hope I'd push it to the floor and crack the floor barrels open. If the car didn't take off, I knew the road was slick. I was dating my daughter's mother, and when I was laid off from landscaping, I'd take her and her girlfriend to school, drop them off.
In 1.5 miles, take exit 208.
Well, right by the school they went to was a Kmart. I'd go in that Kmart parking lot, and if the Kmart parking lot was plowed, but the salt hadn't worked yet to melt all the residual snow and ice off, I'd go down there and start doing donuts on the ice.
Yeah.
Well, one day I was doing that, and the car was slowly sliding to where the ice had melted to dry blacktop, so I'd let off. I was waiting for the car to straighten out. Well, as I was waiting for the car to straighten out, it hit that dry spot and stopped. She was sitting behind me without her seatbelt on. I bounced her off the passenger rear door. I thought it was kind of funny after I made sure she was okay. It wasn't funny until I knew she was okay, you know?
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that girl for 10 years. I walked into a convenience store and she was in there. I stopped and talked to her for a little bit. Well, I was talking to her. I was in my second marriage.
Take exit 208.
Had two more kids, and she had just had a baby about a year or two before I seen her in there. She had been married about 3 years, had a baby.
Keep left to I-2 South, then keep right.